Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Chicagoland Speedway, race number 19 of 29, the first season of the NASCAR Excel Energy Cup Series. 40 cars take to the track once again, as this marks the final race of the three-part, but also six-part Chicago Cup. We've seen a lot of interesting racing take place so far. What will happen on the banks here in Chicagoland? Take a look at your field for today's action. On pole, Robbie Webb. He currently sits, I believe, 6th in points in his number 20 Gulf Oil Ford Fusion. Will he be the first of 4 drivers with 2 wins to break away and get their third this season? On his outside is Jari Matti Haapalainen in the 27. He started off with a fairly good start to his season, fell back. Now he's trying to make a late season rebound. In third in points to 0, Brady Burghardt. He's been turning up the heat these last couple races, and he keep up the momentum and close in. He's only 200 points back from Patrick Smith. Teddy Curry on his outside. Can he get the second win of the season for number 34? TJ Hanley, 2nd in points. Won last week out with crazy strategy at Meadowdale. Will we see something similar today with that 08 running up at the front? Austin Delgado to his inside. Then it's Nick Perez, Brandon Morris, Julio Caesar, Skylar Dixon, Noah Breeze. And there's our points leader, Patrick Smith. Eli Bright and Dragos King-Sherrow, along with Antoine Smith and Nick Bergwald. This is his home race. And it's Kev Shearer, Logan Cloud, Hector Carneras, Austin Terrio, Eric Darnell, Logan Bradley, Gabriel Durand, Tib Foster, Zachary Bilson, Danica Matthew, Jacob Rose, James Busher, Zachary Fitzwater. And if you saw along the back stretch, there were some tire scrape marks. Fitzwater in practice got a piece of the wall going down the back straightaway. Poorly a part broke on the car. And the backup car was not the best of his ability in qualifying. That's why he's starting down the order. Noah Robb on his outside. Then we have a surprise. Jay Jefferson is well down here. He's 5th in the point standings. Not the day he needs if he wants to be one who tries to get this championship. Cody Smart on his inside. Then it's Cody Savage, Preston Emmons, Dane Cruz, Matthew Town, Taylor Fry, Trey Fisher, Dominic Carlone. And this is huge. Carlone in the top 10 in points. Was 3rd coming into the Chicago Cup, but he's had 2 poor races, and looks like it's going to continue with this number 2 car starting in the back once again. And Dylan Jacobs in 39th. That'll round out your field here from the Chicagoland Speedway. Let's get the starting command.
Drivers, start your engines.
So, the engines will fire up here on the back straightaway at the Chicagoland Speedway. Hoping everyone can roll off, and looks like Dragos King blew up before the start. Not about that. It's like everyone's getting going this time around, which is good. Sorry about that, but 40 cars once again on this, I believe, 18-degree banked 1.5 mile oval with a unique curve back straightaway. But we have 41 laps of racing action. The first Midwest Bank 400 is about to go green. Robbie Webb leads the field down. Looks like the outside line didn't get the best of starts to 1 and 2. And look at this, Brady Burghardt already 3rd, going for the lead on the inside of Robbie Webb. But you're going to see this a lot this race. Guys checking up on the bottom of turn number 4. Cars tend to slide up off turn 4 if they don't get off the throttle. You see that with Nick Perez, who really dropped off, and that's going to allow TJ Hanley to try and gain more precious spots and points as he's found his way to the inside of Teddy Kari, a fellow Mazda. Now out in front, the 20, Robbie Webb still holds lead as Brady Burkhart slipped back to his starting spot in third. Austin Delgado trying to tail off this 4-car tandem out front, maybe trying to break away from this large group. Teddy Kari, you see, is this the rebound race for him? He came back at Chicago, really didn't do much at CMS and Meadowdale, but now he is back in it, back into the top 10 where we saw him run at tracks like Trenton. Now Nick Perez and Brandon Morris sitting up here comfortably in the top 10, as well as Skylar Dixon. Dixon, you don't see a whole lot of him running strong, but it finally seems like he might be one to put a good race together. It's like Hapalainen was up the track in the trial, and that's going to catch the 0 of Brady Burkhart out as Delgado tried to make the move on him, but Brady sailed it into the corner, kept that spot. Delgado loses off, and Hanley maybe thinking about a look around the outside, but it's going to leave the door open for Teddy Kari possibly to get underneath that 0-8. Kari lifts at the apex of turn 4. Brady Burkhart running right to the back bumper of the 27. It's easier to grab positions early when you got guys drafting off one another. And if these guys get side by side, you're going to see huge runs form, because when they get side by side, that really opens up the air and allows guys behind to close right up to that battle. So the first 5 laps, Robbie Webb has gone pretty much uncontested. Brady Burkhart here just waiting in the wings, just being patient with it. It's early on in the race, don't need to go for broke. That 27 of Jari-Matti Hapalainen. Burkhart clearly thinking about the big picture. Knows he wants to win, but top 5s are ever important. Here comes Brandon Morris to the inside of Nick Perez for the 7th spot. Like an easy pass was made. Skylar Dixon might get the runoff as Perez pretty slower on the high side. Noah Breeze as well closing up into this 4-car train coming into turn 1. They all stay single file. 0-car Brady Burkhart still close, but looks like he's going to try and turn it under the 27. Down the back straightaway. Using that clean air. Going to try and get under him. Maybe gave him a little tap there, but not enough to upset that 27. Looks like Brady's not going to have a big runoff, and that's going to allow Austin Delgado to go under him with help from TJ Hanley, but the 0 still prevails and slams the door. We saw this 0 and 39 battle it out at tracks like Martinsville, and these two have found themselves at the front once again. Now we have 2nd through 6th all in a group here, running out front early in the First and West Bank 400. Robbie Webb, he's only 500-ish points back. I think he's around 510 points back on our points leader, Patrick Smith. But here comes the 0, trying it once again on Jari-Matti Hapalainen. Looks like the high side. Delgado only. Actually, it's going to be Delgado being hung out to dry. And now Brady's going to try something, possibly trying to block both lanes, Hanley and Delgado. He's going to use to his advantage as he has a really strong 1 and 2. But out of all that, the 0 did not get past the 27. Going to try it again. Now Delgado and Hanley not only blocking each other, but will have to block the charging Perez, Morris, Dixon, Breeze, and Eli Bright. Bright's had some good races, replacing the injured Matthew Eves in the 0-9, but has been able to get a top 10. Will we see it coming here today at this 1.5-mile oval? Dixon now drafting, Noah Breeze behind him. Trying to get past the 45 of Nick Perez. Dixon won't be coming back next season. Perez, I believe, is coming part-time. These guys doing all they can in the season that they have. Nick Perez still, he led the points early in the season, and he's still there. I believe, 9th in points is this 45. So, very quiet season for Nick Perez, but a good one at that for Hills Racing. Comes Bright underneath Breeze for the final spot in the top 10. And there's our points leader, Patrick Smith, sitting in 14th. 3 wide back here. Oh, man, Logan Cloud backed out of it. And that saved that 35 of Dragos King from getting turned because it looked like he was about to be sent around. And now Terrio running super aggressive. He's making it 3 wide on Smith and Shearer. 41 not holding back early. Terrio is 7th in points, I want to say. And Antoine Smith is 8th, so he's swapping spots between the guys in the top of the standings seem to be common. But now, Brady Burkhart has lost a spot. His efforts to try and get past this 27 of Jari-Matti Haapalainen have gone nowhere. And the 0 slipped to 4th. But now, Kari up the track. Morris trying to get to his inside. Nick Perez, is he going to go with the rival Japanese manufacturer? Go with his Mazda teammate? Neither. He's going for the middle. I think the middle is actually the preferred groove here at the Chicagoland Speedway. But race is going by quickly already. Lap 15 of 41. And oh, Eli Bright getting a little squirrely coming out of the tri-oval. Nearly lost it, but a big save out of that Ford driver. Here comes Brady trying to reclaim 3rd. Delgado not really there. Delgado pulled arguably the Burkhart move of this race, sailing into the corner on the high side and really diamonding the apex. Now, Haapalainen closing up to the back of the 20, Robbie Webb. Here on lap 16 of 41 in the First Midwest Bank 400. Into turn 3. He's waiting. Will we see a look in turn 1? That's a possibility. As he's there just waiting for the perfectly timed move. We haven't seen it this race, but they do have the ability to run the apron through the tri-oval, shave off a couple times, but because these cars are so aero-sensitive here at Chicagoland due to the draft, possibly damaging or flaring the side skirts with the transition from the bank tri-oval onto the flat apron, might disturb them. Could catch your car up, but here comes the pass for the lead. Maybe. Through turn 4, do we see the checkup? The checkup hurt the 27. That time big. Falling off more than a driver would have in the Qualcomm race. Robbie Webb back with an advantage out front. Now, Burkhart may have used up his tires too early as here comes the 0-8 of TJ Hanley trying to work underneath him. Teddy Kari, Brandon Morris, you see the draft here when they go side by side really sucks up. And that's going to allow Morris, who had the bigger run compared to Kari, to move underneath. But they all fall single file, and Morris, a big check up there, really got off the throttle. But now Webb really opening up his gap. Pretty much the same it was the last lap, though, but trying to pull away. Take a look at your fastest lap so far. Skylar Dixon is the one to have it. He's had a fast car. Looks like John Rolson Racing brought 2 good cars here, the 20 and the 12. Where is Cody Savage? He obviously does not have a fast car as he sits 33rd, but you see there on the ticker, Jay Jefferson is 35th. That's really going to hit him in the points more than he wanted. And Dominic Carlone as well down there in 39th. Fitzwater made up a little bit. Currently sits 29th. Nick Bergwald in his home race. He's 10th in points. He sits 22nd. And points leader Patrick Smith in 14th. But here comes Austin Delgado, the 39. Thought about a look, but immediately ducked back in online for the 27, Jari-Matti Haapalainen. But as we hit the halfway mark of this race, down the back straightaway, we are going to take a quick commentary break here, but you won't miss any of the action from the Chicagoland Speedway. Oh, trouble! Nick Perez is around and over! Barrel rolling into turn number 1, and our points leader's in it. A terrible crash. In turn number 1, Perez has gone over and back into traffic. Been hit once, now twice. Carlone's in it as well. What has just occurred? Bilson out. Webb leads them back. Caesar out. Nick Perez has gone for a tumble. Carlone heavy damage. Town with damage. Fry with damage. And more importantly, that's our points leader, Patrick Smith, with damage. As a very, very unsuspecting accident has changed the outlook of the Chicagoland race. But with the halfway mark being hit, is this the point of the race where we will see pit stops? Are they coming this lap? Let's take a watch. And it looks like they will. Everyone most likely will be coming down. 4 tires and fuel. It's under caution. I don't see any reason to play strategy here, as 4 tires and fuel should prevail. There you see the damage 28. Zachary Bilson just adding to his woes this season. But that wreck started in the top 10 and ended with the last cars on track as Nick Perez went for a terrible ride. But let's see what these leaders do. Gain as much as they can here on pit road. Fuel only. No tires. Just gas. For Robbie Webb, Jari Matti Haapalainen, and TJ Hanley, and Eli Bright. Big strategy here, as it looks like 2 tires for the rest of the field, and Brady Burkhart and Teddy Carey will lose probably valuable ground. Did not expect to see the strategy we have just seen, but it'll be tough to see. Will the 0, the 34, the 41, and guys like Brandon Morris, Noah Breeze as well. Looks like only 4 guys took gas only, and they were running in the top 10 before the accident. As this caution has stirred up the running order here in the First Midwest Bank 400. Let's get you a replay of the incident on the entry to turn number 1. We're going to slow it down. Coming off of turn number 4, Noah Breeze has a run. He's going to go to the inside of Nick Perez. And Perez is going to hear his spotter say 18 looking low. So he's going to block. The block comes too late as Breeze and Perez contact. Right front into left rear is going to spin the 45 as they go down onto the apron. Nick Perez just going to lose control. He shot back across into traffic. Bounces off the wall and gets hit and sent rolling by the 4 of Julio Caesar. If Caesar was just running a couple feet low, this wreck wouldn't have big as it was, but Patrick Smith made the decision to go high, and it cost him as he got a roof full of a fellow Mazda driver in Nick Perez. Kev Shearer, man, slowing it down and actually going to avoid this crash from being at the top of the track, but oh, he's not. He came right down into the 5 and Noah Robb. Gave them a little damage, but here the 45 spins down, collects the 28, and good job to all these guys staying low enough before the 45 hooked down. Flips Matthew Town, and that car alone nowhere to go. Boy, the 05, is he going to get through here? Oh, no. Oh, big hit to the side of the 2. Really got him upset. As the pace car rushes through the accident scene. A very, very tough one here for Nick Perez. Let's get another angle of the wreck. Boy, Logan Cloud was lucky to get through there. And that could have been a lot worse with that car tumbling down the turn 1 banking. Actually, I'd like to go on board with the 94 if we can get a shot of that, because it was way far up the track when this wreck occurred. And watch it develop. Oh, he did get lucky, especially with the 0-1 coming down. But all is well for the 94 as he continues on in this race. Let's go on board with our points leader, Patrick Smith. And where he will be sitting after the carnage. The hole was there, but it just closed up. It's a tough break for our points leader, who has a lot of damage after this wreck, but not as major as many others. Should be repaired, and he will be on his way. We'll take one last onboard ride. The driver who got the worst of it, 45, Nick Perez. A very, very scary ride there for the 45 of Nick Perez, but this crash just has to be attributed to the weight shift and energy shift, as the 45 bouncing off the wall and just got hit by the number 4 of Julio Cesar. Nick Perez has gotten out of his car, waved to the crowd. They enjoyed the sight of knowing that everyone is A-OK and uninjured after this wreck. Now we'll let them pace for a bit under caution. See where everyone will fit. Coming back to the restart. So it appears that Taylor Fry and Dominic Carlone have gotten their minor damage repaired. Patrick Smith as well. This is big for the championship, as Patrick Smith, nothing stopping him. Even the roof damage on the 0-1. The wrinkly roof will be easy for that spotter to see. But Patrick Smith, he's a trooper. And he won at Phoenix after being involved in a last lap chaos. Won it with a destroyed race car. Probably won't win it today at a aero-heavy track like this, but yet again, we'll try and keep his head up in this points fight. He'll lose the 0-8 and the 0, most likely with them being in the back and him being out in the front, but Chicagoland may be the race that changes the tune of this year's championship. Are we going green this next time? Bye. Take a look at the pace lights. They're out. We will be going green next time by. Robbie Webb, your race leader. He's led, I believe, all of this race so far. Well, he's had a couple challenges, but has been able to hold them off. Will fuel only work? The top 4 take fuel only. And I believe from Delgado on back, it is 2 tires. I'm not sure if guys far, far in the back took 4 or what. But they will most likely be too far back on track position to matter. Brady Burkhart has been running in the top 5 nearly all race. He's back to 8th. But TJ Hanley in 3rd, Brady Burkhart in 8th, and even Austin Terrio in 10th. Really going to help change the point standings. But we can't forget that Robbie Webb is only 520-ish points back. And he has 2 wins this season, Minnesota and Texas World. A 1-mile oval and a 2-mile oval. Can he get the in-betweener to the 1.5-mile oval? We shall see, as we will be restarting lap 28 of 41 on the First Midwest Bank 400 to close out the Chicago Cup. Pace car makes the very hard left turn down, and we will be back to green here in Joliet, Illinois. And stacking him up on the restart. Webb, it's going to bite him. Here comes Happelinen into his inside, and Hanley went high, but I don't know if that's going to work for him. Webb gets the run off the corner. More traction in that middle high groove seems to be the thing, and Brady Burkhart not wasting any time. He's pushing in the 18. Does the 27 have a problem? He's on the apron. Oh my goodness. The leaders are coming back down. They must have not gotten enough fuel in the car, but... oh, man. This race has just been turned on its absolute head as the race leaders have not gotten enough fuel in their cars, and they will be coming back down. And now, look at this. The 09 going to come down, stack the field up. Great heads-up driving, but this is really going to screw the entire field up. As these guys come out, Austin Delgado went around the high side of Eli Bright, and when Bright slowed up to pit, he was basically shot out of a cannon. Brandon Morris sits in 2nd. Noah Breeze 3rd. Brady Burkhart in 4th. Antoine Smith, Teddy Curry battling for 5th. But yes, this whole race has been changed, and it did not help them any, as TJ Hanley, 2nd in points, was thinking that he would be the one benefiting the most with Patrick Smith's misfortunes, but he just has some of his own. Heartbreak for these 3 leaders who had the 3 best cars all day, but now Morris closing up to the draft of our race leader, Austin Delgado. Coming around, 10 to go. And here comes Burkhart coming up to Breeze for 3rd. Brady making the look. Breeze gave him room. Will he get the spot? Side by side through turns 1 and 2. Even runs off the corner. Neck and neck down the back straightaway here at Chicagoland. But will Brady Burkhart, he dives it into 3 easily and will land the spot. Smith over Kari. Skylar Dixon over Austin Terrio. Now, Morris has really dropped back for the race lead. Delgado just trying to hit his marks, but he does not have the draft like Morris does, allowing him to slice and dice the air and get right back up to the back bumper to the 39. Honestly, I'm not sure why TJ Hanley and the leaders did pit. Because, you know, last week Hanley was the guy who did stretch the fuel all race long. But it's just heartbreak, and it's just a miscalculation. And these guys not wanting to risk running out of fuel. They're in it for the long haul. Don't want to cause an accident, get crash damage or anything, I guess. That's why they came out. And came back down. Now here comes Brandon Morris running close as the laps wind down, trying to get this race lead. Let's go on board the driver of the Valvoline Toyota. And look at the run Morris got off of turn number 2. He's going to really dive it in. Will he take the race lead with this move? He will. Big checkup out of the 39 coming off the corner. trying to keep it off the wall. Delgado does have time, but will Burkhart and Breeze close? Are we going to see a four-man fight for the race win here at Chicagoland? Antoine Smith, he's 8th in points. His number 65 Labatt Blue Dodge for Cloud9. Autosport. This is going to really help him in the points. Not only Brady Burkhart, but Smith as well, as he's really going to gain up on Robbie Webb. Dominic Carlone. 34, Teddy Kari in 6th. He's having a good day. Austin Terrio as well, having a good points day. Logan Cloud, he's 11th in points, 600 points back. He's going to get a good top 10 run. Nick Bergwald in his home race, putting together a top 15. And we look back to the front here. Coming around, 4 to go. Can Delgado close, get his second win of the season, or will it be Brandon Morris getting his first? Brady Burkhart still in this fight, really abandoning the 18 of Noah Breeze, as Breeze has really stepped up his equipment game opposed to the start of the season. You got Brady sitting in 3rd. He's trying to get win number 3 this year. Will he be the first one to do it? There are going to be 3 laps this time by coming around, and you see Patrick Smith 13 miles an hour off the pace. Really going to hold up, guys. Man, Morris ducked out at the last second to get around the wounded Mazda of our points leader. It's going to hold Noah Breeze up. He's got to manage him on the high side. But that just allowed Brady Burkhart in the 0 to close. 2.5 laps to go in Chicagoland. Here comes Brady Burkhart for 2nd. Trying to march and close up to his teammate Brandon Morris for this race lead and the win. But Brady checks up off the corner. It's going to cost him. He's going to drop back. Noah Breeze trying to jump in with an advantage. Can't quite do it. But up here, you've got the 0-1 holding cars up. Can we see the pack stacked up late in the race? I don't know. But Morris with an advantage. If these guys link up in time, they might be able to catch him. But coming around to the white flag, Morris might be home free. Off of corner number 4, this time by the Bush's Baked Beans. White flag is displayed. Brandon Morris leads them. Austin Delgado in 2nd. Brady Burkhart trying to charge on him once again. Will Delgado throw it on and close the door? He does. Delgado slams the door on Brady Burkhart. And that may have just costed themselves a shot at this race win, as Brandon Morris, the least performing JJ Motorsports car so far this season. Next year is going to Hills Racing, who's switching from Mazda Toyota. And this is the confidence boost he needs. Off of turn 4, Brandon Morris will close out the Chicago Cup and win the First Midwest Bank 400, as Burkhart will beat Delgado, securing a Toyota 1-2-4, with Noah Breeze coming home in 4th. And Antoine Smith leads the 2nd group with the 5th place spot, 3 seconds behind the leader. Oh, excuse me there, but this was a race no one expected, as pitch strategy destroyed the hopes of arguably the 3 fastest cars, and it was Brandon Morris coming home with the victory over his teammate Brady Burkhart. So good day, all things considered, for Burkhart, Smith, Terrio, Cloud, and Bergwald and the points things, but bad days for Fitzwater, Jefferson, Smith, Hanley, and Webb. 32nd, 33rd, and 34th really going to hurt them, and just add insult to injury for poor TJ Hanley. He gets beaten by Patrick Smith again, but I'd like to thank you all for coming out here. Chicagoland Speedway, let's get your points. See how much the championship has really been shaken up after this week. And as you see it, Brandon Morris led 7 laps, Austin Delgado led 6, and Robbie Webb led 27. Eli Bright, where did Eli lead a lap? He must have led it when it was Webb, Handley, and Happalainen came down. I think that would be it. And now, the thing we've all been waiting for. Where do the points sit? And look at that. Patrick Smith. That shows how dominant he was from around race 8 to race 18. He still has the points lead, but it's now a weekly 5. Brady Burkhardt has closed the gap and tied him in top 10s to 5 single points. TJ Hanley slips to 30. He's now 113 points back. That poor race for him as he fell out due to botched pit strategy killed his momentum. And Zachary Fitzwater Sr., even with a 21st place run, gains a spot on Jay Jefferson, but only by a singular point. The top 5 all within 299. Then it's Terrio and Smith moving up as Carlone falls. Bergwald is Cloud gain as Robbie Webb slips to 11th. Basically staying the same point where he was, 513 back, but look at this. You now have to go back to 15th. Nick Perez with 609 after going with his tumble to find a driver that is over 600 points back. This championship is now many people's game. And look at this. Austin Delgado. Let's talk about on race 6. He was nearly last in the standings. He's up to 12th. Talk about a drive. Oh my goodness, excuse me. But talk about a drive for a driver who was doing miserable, picked up the pace, and has now shown excellence. But that is going to do it from the Chicagoland Speedway, the First Midwest Bank 400. Thank you all for coming, and we'll get you your results screen to finish out the Chicago Cup and today's action.